What's up, all you good fellow fly guys? You know who it is. The Cat in the Hat, your resident fly guy, your chief architect, Michael Angel, StyleArchitects.com, here to help you redesign your frame of mind when it comes to this styling thing. And welcome to another Discourse in Dress, some expressions for your ensemble and some sonnets for your style. Today we're going to be talking all about the anatomy of pants. So when it comes to trousers, we're going to work from the mount down to the base, to the ground, right? As my mentor would say. And we're going to talk about the different components and the different options that you can potentially have when it comes to those pieces. So the first part that we're going to talk about is the waistband. So some of the attributes that you may see on a waistband are those belt loops, but those belt loops can be removed if you know your weight isn't really fluctuating that much, or you're a shorter guy and you want to make sure that you have a longer line, or you're a more robust guy in the midsection and you want to make sure that you have thinner lines. And instead of you having those belt loops, you can do one of three things. You can have side adjusters. Side adjusters are going to be the pieces that you can pull. It's a piece of fabric that you can pull and adjust so that it is keeping your pants up and keeping your pants fitted to your body. And a lot of guys tend to enjoy wearing those because they don't have to put on a belt. Then you also had side tabs. Now the side tabs are going to be fasteners, and they tend to be a little bit more expensive because they have to be input into the construction of the pants. So you have two buttons, and then you can adjust those on a tab that way. And then the last way that you can do that without the belt loops is to have brace buttons. Now these are not suspenders. Suspenders are the things that clasps. Brace buttons are the things that are going to be buttoned on the interior or the exterior of your pants. So you have those different elements that are going to go on to the waistband. Next, as we move down, we're going to go slightly south to the pleats or flat fronts that you can have on your pants. Now, a lot of guys will say, you know, getting pleats are not fashionable, it's not a good look, and it's not beneficial for you. But this is actually incorrect. Pleats are a great thing for you to wear, especially if you insist on having tighter pants or extremely fitted pants. The reason being is because those give some release and some release, so relief and release to your pants as you're sitting down. On a flat front pant, what will often happen is, especially if you are cutting them too tight, you will see a X. It'll bellow out saying that these pants are too tight and I have no room for release. If you're wanting to wear your pants that tight or that fitted to you, it's actually probably beneficial for you to have some pleats in there, because those pleats will provide some extra leverage and relief when you are moving throughout the day. It's also important to know that when you sit down, then it will, of those pleats will often open up and make sure that your leg feels comfortable when you are sitting down. Now, the common mistake that a lot of guys believe is that pleats are going to be those 1980s huge indentations and folds that you are seeing. The pleats nowadays are much more subtle, and they actually fall in line with the construction of contemporary pants. So it doesn't have to be anything remotely, heavy or crazy in that space. And when it comes to your pleats, you can have either forward-facing pleats, or you can have pleats that face away. Now, if you have flat front pants, I tend to wear flat front pants when it's something extremely casual. If you are a bigger guy, I often wouldn't recommend that you wear flat front pants, just because it doesn't work good if you're actually wearing pants, not jeans, but pants at their proper space. And so because of that, it's just generally good for you to have those pleats. Make sure that they are much more subtle, and it'll still add a wonderful line to your overall look. So in that space, when we're talking about wearing your pants properly, the next thing that we're going to talk about is your zipper or your rise. Now the rise is that zipper line that will extend from just in between your crotch, under your balls, right? All the way, if you're wearing your pants, not your jeans, correctly, at the waist, it will finish off right there, and that will end where the fastener or your button is going to go. So because of that, that rise is actually going to either extend further if you have a bit of a protruding belly, or it can go a little bit longer. Now I have a longer rise because I have a longer torso. So from my hip to my midsection is probably about 3.5, almost 4 inches. So when it comes to my pants, because I wear them at the proper space, I tend to have a longer rise. And so you always want to make sure that you're checking the rise of your pants. Now as we move down the leg line, then we are going to talk about the fit of the thigh and the fit of the knee area, as well as going down the rest of the leg. Now again, that's all just the out seam and the inseam of the pant, so I'm not really going to talk too much about the definitive aspects of it. We kind of know what that is. But when it comes to the fit of both of those different types of things, again, just pay attention to your body type. There's a difference between something that is tailored, something that is tight, and something that is also constricting. I've been in a space, especially in the summertime, where I tend to wear things that may be deemed a little tight in the past, and I've had to make sure that my pants are tapered. Now that's extremely important for me as a taller guy, because I want to make sure that I'm balancing out my my proportions, and I'm not looking too constricted, because that's going to make me look longer. And I'm a guy who really enjoys wearing seersucker, which is a linear fabric, so I definitely have to make sure that I have breadth when it comes to the look. What happens with a lot of guys is they tend to cut everything extremely tight, and they forget that as you go below the knee, your leg line is already going to be tapered in anyway. So they go from here, taper that in here, and then taper the leg line in here, so it looks like a peg leg. And they actually used to be a style, but it's not necessarily the most conducive for most guys, so you just want to pay attention to that. And the last aspect of your pants is going to be your hemline. Now you can either do a finished hemline with no cuff, or you can do a cuff, or you can even do, in casual pieces, a jean stitch. Now the jean stitch is of course going to be most casual, because it is a top stitch that is on the pants. Now if you are doing some chinos, you can do a jean stitch. I'm not really super fond of it, but you can do it, and I do have some of my chinos with that top stitching on there. You can do a finished non-cuffed finishing on the bottom, and this is, again, if you're wearing flat front pants, it keeps everything light, keeps everything airy. You can keep things a little bit more contemporary with wearing your brakes slightly higher, so that you can show no socks and do all those different types of things. And if you're in your leisure suit, it is a great anchor if you are wearing pleats, and so you'll understand that benefit once you are walking around throughout the day. You're sitting down, you're getting up, and you're not seeing any wrinkles in that center of attention. So you'll have some anchoring on the cuff, and what that actually does is it helps the drape of the pant. The excess fabric, while it may seem minuscule, actually will make sure that you have some extra weight when you are moving. The last aspect of your pants are going to be your crease. Now if you're wearing jeans and you're not from the South like me, then you probably didn't put any creases in your jeans. When I was in the South, or when I was back home, we used to do that in high school, but not so much anymore. Outside of that, I would say if you have any pants that are pleated, you should always have a crease in your pants. There's just something very off about, and off-putting about pleated pants with no crease, and part of it is just because the crease line starts and will create the line for where that crease needs to go, and it keeps everything very tight and allows you to cut through the day. If you are wearing casual flat-fronted pants, you don't have to have a crease. I still tend to wear a crease, and I create my own cuff on those flat front pants, and I know that that sounds a little contradictory from what I said last week about some of the things that men do wrong, but again, once you know the rules, you know that you know how to break them properly, so it doesn't ever look really bad, again, with me having a jacket on and different things of that nature. So that is why I do that. So those are the aspects and the components when it comes to constructing a pant, and I'd love to hear what elements you are learning about when it comes to the anatomy of a pant, what you are going to potentially start looking for when you are purchasing your pants, and how your pants are, how you're starting to see the power of your pantalones and how you're wearing those. So leave me some comments in the comment box and let me know what those thoughts are. Please make sure that you give this a thumbs up if you thought and found this information to be informative, and please make sure that you subscribe if you are enjoying this content. You know you are, I'm just saying. Next week, we're going to be talking about different types of pants that you can wear for the spring and the summer, since it is the season, so that you can get some ideas on how to construct your wardrobe. I hope that this is serving you. I'm giving you this information again so that you can begin constructing your thoughts, making sure that it is a full expression of your character so that it's communicated out into the world. Please don't ever forget that dress is nothing more than the expression of a man's state of mind. So you should always dress to express. I'll see you next week. Peace.